Well, cousin Jared, Mama said there'd be days like this.
And
Yeah.
today was one of those days.
Today was one of those days. Our play of the day got rained out, which feels fortunate, to be
Mm,
honest. And
mhm,
maybe it's the other way around. Maybe that would have been our savior. That's
mhm.
been the way it's gone off lately. The plays that they've been doing worse, but we've been killing everywhere else. So it's been
Yep.
balanced up. Maybe that would have flipped. Maybe we did better. Maybe it would help us. But
Right.
at least for me personally, I don't know about you. I actually just looked back at all the winnings that we've had and saw I have a formula that says how much we've lost today. And what I've lost today personally was a mere fraction of what I've made
Mhm.
uh, recently betting baseball. So, that's okay. At least we aren't going to win them all, but it doesn't make it any easier, but it does at least soften the blow seeing that we're still up a ton in baseball.
Yeah, and if you're with us for college football, this past Saturday in college football helped that out too. So yeah, in the long run, still a lot of good things.
Yep. Still a lot of good things in the long run. Tuesday's slate, no day games. We'll get right to it though with a night game here, 6:40 p.m. Eastern, Braves Phillies. A couple of wild ones here as part of that doubleheader on Monday. This one sets up to be lower scoring, but I really thought those first two games would be lower scoring. And, we missed the over in the first game. There was a fly ball that got in the sun and falls for a hit, basically right where the right fielder was standing. Can't catch it. Multiple errors. It was kind of a wonky thing. I'm not sure it mattered. I think we might have lost the under anyway because there were so many
Yeah.
runs, but it was a wonky day game. The night game had a bunch of runs too. It sets up to be a lower scoring game here with Max Fried and Zach Wheeler, two of the best pitchers in baseball. Look at those grades. This is one of the better pitching matchups we've had all season, 68 and 70. Max
Mhm.
Fried, every bit as good as that 2.7 ERA. Zach Wheeler, probably better than that 3.49 ERA. Been an absolute workhorse for the Phillies here down the stretch. Solid relievers, but these offenses are so good. And we saw it on display Monday. Instead of touching the total this time, we're going to take the Braves minus 118. It's a B grade pick. Cousin Jared, I feel like this one's short and simple. We may have the quickest show ever today for 3 picks. We've talked about it with the Dodgers in the past that a team
Yeah.
that good, when it's a B grade, you just play it. The A grades, we just kind of say the edge is big enough. It doesn't really matter if we're missing something. In the long run, it's going to work out, and it's been proven time and time again. The B grades, we got to look a little bit deeper into, except we kind of asterisk that and say, on these top teams, if it's a B grade, just roll with it and don't question it. And that's kind of how I feel about this. Minus 118 for the Braves. This Braves team's just so good. Just whatever. Let's roll with it, right?
Yeah. That's a big part of it. The other thing is obviously the starters feels like a wash, two great pitchers, but then you look
Yeah.
at the advantage that the Braves have on offense. Even though the Phillies have a good offense, the Braves offense is just so good, more than a standard deviation better, and the relievers for the Braves coming in better rated than the Phillies. So for me, the starting pitching is a wash, but then all of the other advantages that the Braves had, this minus 118 still feels a little short to me.
Yeah, I agree. The minus 112 would get you to an A grade. If it were to drop an extra 6 cents, that's where we want to put a little bit more money on it because the value's extra there. So we want to put a little bit more of our eggs in that basket as it is. Still worth being part of your portfolio for Tuesday. Also of note, the Phillies 107 offensive rating drops to a 103 versus lefties. They're a little bit left-handed heavy. Of course, they're still a good offense against lefties, but against Max Fried, they should struggle to score off him. And obviously, again, all the runs we've had Monday, right? Asterisk, caveat, I know, right? But
Yeah.
it shouldn't be easy pickings off of Max Fried
Nope.
here. Whereas the Braves offense, even as good as Zach Wheeler is, you feel like this Braves offense can hit just about anybody. It doesn't really matter who's
Yep.
out there. And that's kind of what we've seen almost all season from them as one of the best offensive baseballs. Braves minus 118. I'm like you. The anytime you get one of these top teams, B grade, even sometimes C grade, just roll with it. That's what we're
Yep.
saying here with the Braves minus 118. B grade pick for us to start off the night. And then
Yep.
we're going to jump right to some late games, Guardians and Giants. You can see based off what we're talking about here on screen, we're going to go with the total in this one. Park factor of 92. This is still a very pitcher-friendly ballpark here in San Francisco. It's less pitcher-friendly. Excuse me, that says 92. It should say 96. It's late here. It should say 96. Still pitcher friendly, not as pitcher friendly as it was a couple years ago before they changed the dimensions. Back then, I think it was about a 92. Now I get it at 96. Still pitcher friendly. You've also got Sean Manaea, who's not been terrible for the Giants. I know it's surprising for many of you. 408 FIP, 407 XFIP, ERA higher, but he's actually been better than that ERA. And again, the Guardians still have a problem against lefties. That offensive rating of a 90 drops to an 81. It's going to be hard for them to score runs off of a left. This Giants offense hasn't been quite as good here as of late. And they're facing a pitcher in Cal Quantrill, who's probably a little better than that 570 ERA. Good Guardians relievers as well to come in behind. So you just got enough good mismatch pitching here in a pitcher-friendly ballpark and a pitcher-friendly environment. Model says 7.5 for that total, as you can see on screen. We get to go under 8.5. We have a full run advantage. Cousin Jared, why are you liking this under?
Well, I'm liking this under because the Guardians offense is involved, which they have risen a little bit from the depths that they had earlier this season, but still not the best offense. You have a weather adjustment here, bringing down. So not only is the park factor below average, but you've also got a weather adjustment. The weather's expected to slightly suppress some runs. And I was shocked when I saw that Sean Manaea had a 94 grade. He's come quite a long way from almost breaking 98, from almost breaking sideline. I can't remember if it was last season or earlier this season. Yeah, so got to recognize that improvement. So yeah, game in San Francisco with the weather potentially helping suppress runs with the Guardians.
I think it was last season. He started off and they thought he'd be good, and he was just so terrible at the start of last season. And then this season, just kind of mediocre as well. But they didn't really have the expectations last season. That they had the expectations of getting him from Oakland, that he would be good in that ballpark. It was just miserable and not great to start the season either. But really found his footing in the bullpen. Pointed out to you, his walks have gone up a little bit. That's because his fastball velocity is as high as it's been since his rookie season, and his strikeouts are now over 10 per 9, which is the first time he's ever had that mark as well. He's throwing harder. I think he started doing that in the bullpen when they were getting him out there and just saying, go 3 innings. And he started throwing harder. It started working. He's still not going to go 7 now because he's throwing harder, but he's found some effectiveness now by throwing a little bit harder, and he's kind of reworked his game to become an average major league pitcher. And given how terrible he was last year, I think average is something he's got to be happy with. The team's got to be able, the fans have to be happy with. So yeah, Manaea against this left-handed heavy Guardians offense, a Giants team that, they'll put up a few runs, but this is not Sunday, right? Sunday, that game was played in the daytime. Sunday night baseball was still played in the daytime. 5:00 start local time. The sun is out. The ball carries better during the day. We talked about that at San Francisco and Oakland. At night, the ball doesn't carry as well here. So a night game should be expecting more of a normal low-scoring game in San Francisco. Again, we're projecting 7.5, so we get to go under 8.5 as a pretty good little edge. And then wrapping us up, I don't know. Lather and repeat what we said for the first game. Decent team versus one of the best teams. Padres decent, although I don't know. The parts are there. It just hasn't really come together for them all season. We're backing them here on Monday. The game hasn't finished yet. It's tied 7-7, which is a wild game, of course, for now. So hopefully they can pull one out for us. But we're going to be on the Dodgers here. Instead on Tuesday. I think there's a little bit of value in this game because people are kind of freaked out about Lance Lynn. His last couple starts have not been good. One of those was against the Braves. It's very understandable. And this Padres offense obviously still pretty good, but this Dodgers offense is just so good. When the price is even a little bit short, you just kind of have to take it. And that's what we said about the Braves. That's what we're saying here. The price is good enough to be a B grade, and B grade on the Dodgers for me is let's just roll with it. It's going to mostly work out. Usually with the Dodgers, we're having to lay a run and a half, something like minus 200. Padres just, they're okay, but this Dodgers team is really good. What do you got for us here, Cousin Jared?
Yep. Same thing was said about the Braves, starting pitching essentially a wash, and then everywhere else you look, there's big advantages to the Dodgers. And I would even say if there's a reason you look at the full season stats, right? Because that's what tells the whole story. But it does feel like Lynn found something when he went to the Dodgers that he was missing earlier. To your point, the past 2 starts, not the best. But I still think overall he's been a better pitcher there. So I would even say knock this down for the Dodgers starter, knock it down to 199, something like that. And I think there's even maybe a little bit more value here. And when Sideline thinks there's a B grade on one of these really good teams, you usually need to jump at the opportunity because that doesn't always present itself that way.
It's really that simple in my opinion. Because it's probably the shortest show we've ever had with 3 games. But I mean, it's short, simple, it's quick, it's easy. I don't know what else there is to say. 2 B grades and 2 really good teams. If you want the A grades, more A grades over on Dub Club. That link's in the show description. No pitcher prep today, mainly because it's one of the latest shows we've recorded because we just finished up the college football show, and I don't want to look through that stuff because we gotta get some rest. So we're quick and dirty getting out of here. What do you have to say to send us home?
Yeah, I mean, Outlier.bet just has so much amazing stuff on there that it's impossible to go through there quickly. And so
It really,
yeah,
there you go. Look at that. There you go. Outlier.bet/professor 7 day free. But it really is. I started actually looking through it. I was like, there's just too much here for me to do this in a timely manner. And we don't have time for this. So yes, a bunch of good stuff over there. Again, if you're doing the player props, even team betting, they've got some metrics, NFL, college football, MLB, all sorts of that. Cousin Jade, you're a better salesperson than I am. But I don't know if that's anything new. All right. Well, thank you for tuning into this episode of Picks with this quick and abbreviated episode of Picks with the Professor. If you like the shortened time, let us know. If you hated it, let us know. Just let us know. We like to get the constructive feedback here. But again, remember, subscribe. We got all sorts of content coming at you this week: college football, NFL, baseball, all week. Until we see you again, as always, best of luck. And remember, you can eat your betting money, but please don't bet your eating money.